There are many great games out there, and I'm not going to hate on them. But there are other horrific, terrible, sorry excuses, what the hell am I doing with my life video games. Welcome, everybody. Today is the top 10, actually, top 20 worst games ever made. Now, this list is, it has some rules. First of all, any game from any console generation is allowed on the list. Meaning, like, a game from, like, the Atari 2600 days all the way to now with the Wii U, and soon it'll be the Switch, the Xbox One and PS4 games could all make the list. However, no mobile games, as well as any Steam Early Access games, will not be allowed. And if the game has a console release, it has to be officially licensed by the company that it was on. So if you're expecting games like Hong Kong 97, Crazy Bus, or Action 52, well, you're out of luck. Anyways, let's get right into it with number 20. Number 20. At number 20, we have Charlie's Angel on the GameCube. And this game was so bad that it was canceled for the Xbox and PS2, at least from what I've heard. This game is a very unfinished game, and the controls are awful. Not to mention, this game got the most embarrassing rating for any game, a 0 out of 10. And given to that this is only number 20, and a game with 0%, sure means that this is a hell of a list. Charlie's Angel is a very unfinished game, and just a terrible excuse for a game, and really didn't need to be made. Okay, next up is Aliens Colonial Marines. Aliens Colonial Marines is a terrible game. It actually wasn't made that long ago. It's one of the later games on this list. Given that it shouldn't be this bad. Aliens Colonial Marines, believe it or not, even had DLC. Like, people would want to pay more money for a game so unfinished as this. And plus, this game was very out of place. Why was it made? There's no, like, Aliens movie made around it, if I recall. Like, if there was, then maybe, but I mean, like, this is based off of a movie franchise that that didn't have a movie at the same time. Yeah, this game's terrible. Next up is Darkwing Duck on TurboGrafx 16. Now, the first Darkwing Duck on NES is awesome. One of my personal favorite NES games. However, they clearly weren't thinking straight with Darkwing Duck on TurboGrafx 16. It has many flaws. Sometimes the shoot button doesn't work. And that's so, like, kind of, like, it's kind of important if you have to shoot, since so much crap is going to be coming at you. Next thing, the hit detection is awful. When you're standing in between two bags, yes, bags fall on you. You you're perfectly you're standing perfectly in between them, but they still hit you. And other times, when you clearly jump over objects or enemies, they hurt you when you clearly jump over them. One more thing about the um strange hit detection is that sometimes you jump on enemies and it hurts them. Other times it hurts you. Like, that makes no sense. Next thing is the delayed controls. They are delayed by what's a second, pretty much. That is bad. Not to mention, you stand for too long, a safe drops on you. Not kidding. The controls require you to do jumping that you shouldn't be able to. So much crap comes up to you, and it's really not fun. You probably haven't heard about this game, and it's probably the most divisive pick on my list, but divisive or not, it deserves a spot on this list. Next up is Back to the Future on NES. Back to the Future has absolutely nothing to do with the movie. The music loops constantly. You play as, this does not look like Marty. You play as this random dude in a muscle shirt, and you always hear the same music except for like when you're in the bar, in the cafe, in school, uh, and it's really stupid. I mean, like, all you do is just run. Like, nothing stops you from running. It's very bad. And you collect clocks. Why? Like, I get Back to the Future, but clocks? Really? Like in Mario, you collect coins. In Sonic, you collect rings. In Zelda, you collect rupees. In Back to the Future, you collect clocks. The hell? Yeah, this is really stupid, and every single damn thing tries to kill you. And even sometimes you even die at complete random. Sometimes the clocks even kill you. But probably not. It's probably when you die at complete random. Okay. Next up is Custer's Revenge on Atari 2600. Yeah, they sure got Custer right, because this game's so stupid, makes me want to start cussing at the game. See what I did there? Custer's Revenge is a very stupid game. It has, like, no point to exist. It's not even a game. So you play as a naked cowboy with only a hat, scarf, and boots, with an erection that is 3 pixels long, and you try to go over those number 4s and trying to avoid these black missile things and trying to rape this naked girl. I'm not kidding. This is the whole game. This is literally the whole game. Yeah, and this um this resulted in many people being offended. Native Americans were offended, women were offended, parents were offended for letting their kids play it. You couldn't even find it in the store normally. You had to go up, ask for it, and it was in this case. And it was weird. Yeah, they should have called this Cluster's Revenge because it's a cluster. If you're gonna port Pac-Man from the arcade to another console, be sure that the console is powerful enough to handle it, which was what went wrong with Pac-Man on the Atari 2600. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to hate on Pac-Man. Pac-Man is one of the most beloved, one of the most influential, and one of the most revolutionary video games of all time. But its port on the 2600 wasn't good. Okay, it's mainly not good because of its power, but come on, they could have at least put Mm, the colors here are awful. And I know it's Atari. There weren't that many colors. But really, when I think Pac-Man, I don't think the main two colors of the stage is blue and yellowish. Plus, it's also bad due to its distracting flicker, bugs and glitches, like random deaths. Yeah, this was one of the games that led to the crash of 1983. The other I'll get to a different time. I'm not putting this higher on the list because it's mainly the system's limitations fault. This game here makes you wonder what it could have been. Sonic 06 is a game that was, it could have been a good game, but it was not. What it is what it is, and what it is not what it could have been. Sonic 06 is a terrible game and killed the Sonic franchise for a little bit. Not until Generations and Colors revived it. And it's just filled with bugs and glitches, and you have to wait like through like a 30-second load screen for a character to say one line of dialogue to another load screen for another character to say another one line of dialogue to another load screen. This is like the Commodore 64. It takes forever just to get to the actual game. And that was like an early computer. That had all the reason to take forever. This is an Xbox 360 and PS3 game. This had no reason to take forever to load. Plus, the voice acting is awful. The music's pretty good. I mean, seriously, His World is my jam. And oh, by the way, don't even get me started on Sonic making out with a human. Oh, get out of my head. Why would you make an animal make out with a human? This doesn't quite take the top spot because the Sonic franchise has revived after this game, and there is one Sonic game that's worse than this. You know those games that you look at and makes you wonder, man, this was actually released? This is like the finished product? Well, Bubsy 3D is one of the prime examples of that game. This looks awful. It's like, how do you call this a finished game? It doesn't look finished. It looks like a prototype. I swear, you could probably trick someone by putting this in front of them that don't know what Bubsy 3D is, or Bubsy at all, and they'll think that this is a prototype. Now, Bubsy was never a good franchise. And so, I don't know why they thought that a 3D Bubsy game would be any better. This was dubbed Super Mario 64 clone. But calling it a clone of Super Mario 64 is way too nice to this game. This is more of a game that tries to be Super Mario 64, tries to be the PlayStation's Super Mario 64, and fails miserably. Personally, I prefer Crash Bandicoot. Like, who doesn't prefer Crash Bandicoot over Bubsy frickin' 3D? And also the controls. The camera does not follow you like how a normal 3D game would be like. No, you have to aim the camera to where you're going and then go there. Come on, you can't do that. And also, whenever you jump, the camera turns downwards, which is very, very nauseating. My God. Not to mention, if you stand still for too long, Bubsy starts messing around with your TV settings. Like, actually. And also, just so you know, if you are going to look at getting this game a try, you can probably get it on eBay for like $1 or something. But just know that Bubsy, he doesn't stop talking. Come on, this game had so much potential. It could have been a good game. Actually, it's Bubsy. What do you expect? You know, remember Connect? Yeah. Steel Battalion Heavy Armor was really bad. It's the best way to sum it up. Okay, just that you can take Connect and the use of a controller and combine it where both are required doesn't mean you should. And don't get me wrong, it's a unique concept, but don't ever do that again. So, Capcom, yes, Capcom made this game. That's sad. What Capcom decided to take both to make a game where you use both a controller and the Kinect, which makes the game unplayable and very unresponsive. And just like the game's not broken or anything, just you can't play it because you have to use both the Kinect and the controller. You want to sit down when you use the controller, but you can't because the Kinect needs you to stand up. And oh my God, it just ugh. Plus, when you're holding the controller, the Kinect thinks that you're trying to do something in the game with your body. Just never do this again, Capcom. Never. It's not making the it's not making 10 through 1 because it's not broken or anything. It's not like unfinished. It's a finished game. It's like a fully it's a fully fledged game and all that, but really it's unplayable due to the Kinect and the controller. And boy, I'm there. I'm at number 11. Oh no. At number 11, oh no. Drake of the 99 Dragons. Drake of the 99 Dragons has multiple flaws, and I can't believe that Idle Effects, the company that owns this game, wanted it to be huge. No, I can't believe this was expected to be bigger than what it was. So, the game is filled with bugs and glitches. It has horrific controls, a camera that makes you want to hurl, and a lock-on mechanic that doesn't even lock on. It has like so many flaws. It's one of those games that believe me when I say this. This is an Xbox game. Yes, it's an Xbox game. No, look at this game and tell me that it looks like an Xbox game. If you tell me that, you're lying. Because it does not look like one. This looks terrible. It looks like it could be on the PS1. Or like the N64. Or maybe even the Atari frickin' Jaguar. Sorry about that noise. This game is terrible. It's going... It's on Amazon. Last time I checked for $2. Sorry about that. $2. $2 on Amazon. And that's probably too much for this game. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Number 10 is Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. Now, here's the thing. You don't make an underrated superhero, probably the most underrated superhero of all time. Come on, haters, face it. You don't make a game suck this bad for him. Like, then again, why was there a game for him? I don't know. There was no, like, Aquaman movie or anything. Like there is coming out in a few years. Aquaman Battle for Atlantis has, like, it's just filled with flaws. It has, like, invisible walls everywhere, like, where you think you would go, but you can't. It has, like, terrible controls, awful graphics, a camera that flies all over the place, and it's just bad. Like, and it's so unfinished. I'm not kidding when I say this. It is so unfinished that when you beat it, the game crashes. Okay, I'm not even gonna. But Aquaman, you're lucky because you're not the only superhero with the game on this list. Number 9 is probably the latest game released on this list. What do I mean probably? I'm sure it is. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. Now this was like the main reason why I made the rule saying like any game from any generation could be on this list. Because I could not exclude this game. Yes, the fact that it's a Sonic game that manages to be worse than Sonic 06 is quite an achievement. But an achievement you do not want to have. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric actually wasn't developed by Sonic Team. It was developed by a new company named Big Red Button. And though they had potential to make a good Sonic game, I don't think they should make another Sonic game ever again. I'm not sure if they made Fire and Ice, but like the idea that they had going for them was good, but they should have made it better. It should have been a good game, and it very well could have been. Sonic Boom on the 3DS is not the greatest game ever, but at least it's better than Rise of Lyric. Like, much better. Shattered Crystal is like freaking Sonic CD compared to compared to Rise of Lyric. I mean, seriously. Plus, let's talk about the problems. First of all, I forgot to mention this when I was talking about Sonic 06, but this does it way more than that game. Sonic isn't fast. This game forgets that Sonic is supposed to be fast. There are very little times where you are fast as Sonic, and when you are fast, the frame rate decreases. Seriously. The game is filled with glitches Especially like this knuckle glitch I heard, where you could skip certain parts of the game. That should not be allowed. Sonic Mania, Project Sonic 2017. Please be good. I have so many questions about this game. Shaq Fu at number 8. First of all, the title. This is very stupid. Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu. Like, why you put Fu? Because Kung Fu is a thing? So, why don't you call... Why don't you give any other fighting game the word Fu at the end, huh? Like, seriously. That Simpsons wrestling game. You didn't just call it... You couldn't have just... Why did you just call it this, like, Simpsons wrestling, whatever it's called? Why don't you call it Simpsons Fu, huh? Well, Smash. Why'd you have to call it Smash? Why didn't you call it Nintendo Fu, huh? Yeah, you see, it's stupid. Second of all, why you give Shaq a fighting game? Like, why? Why? Oh my, I don't know how many times I could ask this. Why? Okay, believe it or not, this game is actually a finished game. Though it doesn't feel like it. The controls are probably the worst controls, and not only in any fighting game I played, but one of the worst in any video game I've ever played. Shaq Fu is the worst fighting game ever. And many people say it, but then also say that, like, games like, let's see, like, Rise of the Robots, Catfight, Kasumi Ninja, Pit Fighter on SNES are all worse than Shaq Fu. Well, okay, I love fighting games, but Shaq, there are a bunch of terrible fighting games out there. And saying that Shaq Fu is the worst one really shows a lot. Damn it. I meant to say says a lot. I guess you could say it shows a lot. Uh, See, this is why Nintendo should not let a different company make their games on their system. Okay, you probably didn't understand what I just said. But, what I mean by that is Zelda Wand of Gamelon and Link the Faces of Evil are both terrible games. And don't get me wrong, Zelda's Adventure and Hotel Mario are also pretty good. I mean bad. Why did I say good? That's like saying... Anyways, but I'm giving them some slack because they are not as abominable as these two. These two are... Oh, they are not Zelda games. In fact, Faces of Evil doesn't even have Zelda in the title. It's called Link the Faces of Evil. So I guess it's a Link game? And in Zelda Wand of Gamelon, you actually play as Zelda. Just, if you're gonna make a game where you play as Zelda, don't make it bad. Like, also, these games are just bad. Like, it's probably finished, but the main reason why this game is criticized a lot are the awful, awful cutscenes. These are probably the worst cutscenes I've ever seen. I mean, like, Drake of the 99 Dragons has better cutscenes than this. Well, then again, that was much later, but Drake of the 99 Dragons cutscenes look awful. This game makes it look awesome. I don't really know what to say, but it's a good thing that Nintendo refuses to talk about this even today. I don't know why that's a good thing, but Maybe if they didn't refuse to talk about it, I don't know what would happen. And it's also a good thing that this and Zelda's Adventure are the only bad Zelda games. Come on, face it. These are, like, pretty much the only bad ones. Okay. This is one of the later games that came out, though Sonic Boom is still the latest. Ride to Hell Retribution is a terrible, terrible game. It's... Don't get me wrong. In other ways, the other games on this list are way worse. Like, they're all less finished in this game. They're all more broken. Yeah, all that. But this game still doesn't feel good. The controls are terrible. And, like, the game's just offensive. It's offensive to bikers thinking that they're, like, thinking that they're killers and women, because that should be the obvious one. And also, this game was voted the worst game ever. But, like, I don't really need to. I'm not gonna call it that because it's only at number 6. Ride to Hell Retribution doesn't quite make it higher on here because it's finished. Like it or not, it is a finished game. But it's still pretty bad. Stay away from this game. In fact, stay away from all these games, but especially this. This is one you should especially stay away. Don't experiment it. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. No. No, don't even get me there. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is the worst NES game ever. Even if I included unlicensed games, it's the worst NES game. Yes, it's worse than Action 52. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a terrible game. Okay, so let me get this straight. So first you play as Dr. Jekyll, where your main weapon is a cane. But there's really no point in using it, because it doesn't work. Seriously, you can watch me in this gameplay, and it will not work once. I'm right in front of them, it doesn't work. And then once you die, when you become Mr. Hyde, well, it's an auto-scrolling stage. Your main weapon doesn't shoot straight, at least it works though. But then you die at complete random. Well, you actually die if you progress too far. Meaning, that's where Dr. Jekyll died. So, if you die as Hyde, where Jekyll did, then you die as Hyde. This is... Though it's a unique idea, you should never, ever do that. And by the way, you know what Dr. Jekyll is trying to do? Get to a wedding. And everyone's trying to kill him. Well, why? Why would you kill him? He's going to a wedding. My God, there's even a stress meter. That's how bad this game is. That doesn't really explain anything, but I mean, there's a stress meter. Yeah. Trust me, this game is pretty stupid. Never play it. Okay, you guys should have seen this one coming. E.T., it crashed the gaming industry. I might as well explain why it's not higher. It's not number 1. It's not number 1 because video games had gone a long way since then. If a terrible, terrible, terrible game such as this were to be made today, it would not crash the gaming industry. But it's ET, it's terrible. The outcome is what puts it on this list. Okay, next up. I can't believe I'm forced to talk about this game. I put game in quotes, because this is not a game. It's a slideshow, and it fails at that. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is the worst FMV video game ever. Video game, whatever. And say all you want about Night Trap and Marky Marky Make My Video. They are both pretty bad. But this, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, makes those two Sega CD games look like an actual game. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties has no gameplay. Okay, no. The closest thing it has to gameplay is selecting stuff. You make choices. And the entire game is just a slideshow with a bunch of heavy filters for no reason. Seriously, why? Why? This is so stupid. It shouldn't even be on here, but at the same time it should, because it deserves this spot. However, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is not a game. I was going to include Color a Dinosaur, because that's not a game, but this is even less of a game. This is terrible. Like, I can't even describe how terrible it is. It is very, very, very bad. And it's also on a black sheep of a console. It was, I believe it was a launch title. And it pretty much single-handedly killed the 3DO. Yeah. This pretty much killed it. I'm not gonna put this any higher on the list because I got two games that are worse than this. But my god. Yeah, oh my god. It can be found on its entirety on YouTube. But, don't do it because on the back of the box it says, feels like a movie. No, it says, plays like a game, but feels like a movie. It's not a game. It sure doesn't feel like a movie. If it is a movie, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. And definitely one of the worst games of all time. I'm sure all of you guys saw this one coming. Superman 64. Or maybe Superman. Because the creators, Titus, forgot to title the game on the front of the box. How do you do that? Okay, I can't even think of where to start with this. Actually, I could. Okay, so this was originally going to be like a free roam Superman game. They should have done that. But okay, it was scrapped. Not everything comes through. But then they do a Superman game where you fly through rings. This is like a Star Fox clone. And like a clone of, what's it called? Nights into Dreams. Did you notice that? This, and going back to Aquaman Battle for Atlantis, this inspired Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. Bleh. Like how, similarly to how Banjo-Kazooie inspired Ukulele. Yeah, This game inspired Aquaman Battle for Atlantis. But this game is way worse. I seriously, after you fly through all the rings where you get like a minute to do so, and you can't miss one ring, instructions for what you have to do next show up for a split second, and what you really have to do is like pick up a car and do something, but like you wouldn't know that at first, and then you don't even have enough time to do that. This is very bad, and it's filled with bugs and glitches. Probably one of the most buggiest and glitchiest game ever. But there's one more. God. At number one, it's probably simple. Big rigs over the road racing. This is the most unfinished game ever. I swear. It is not at all a finished game. It's not even closed. Closed? It's not even close. Big rigs over the road racing. Well, let me tell you everything that's not finished about it. Okay, you're in a race, but not really because the AI does not move. The AI doesn't move. The only sound you hear is like the truck moving. The backlights are on the doors of the truck. When you're selecting a car, when you're selecting a truck, it says select a car. When you could go through pretty much anything, and actually everything. The bridges are like not. They're floating. The water is going. The water is having a seizure. You. I mean, the the time goes outside the box. The the game description on the back of the box is very unreliable. Oh my god. When you go backwards, you oh no. You go backwards. Oh. The game starts to freak out. Not to mention your winner. Oh my god, this is the worst game of all time. There are tons of awful, terrible games that are worthy for this list, but didn't make it. So I want to know what your list is. Be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.